I'm sort of tempted to throw out my remarks because the mayor said so many things thematically that I want to say. And at the end of the day, what the mayor said was, number one, we need to move forward with positive solutions, and he laid those out. Two, we need to stand in opposition to the ways of the past in the fossil fuel industry. By the way, a hand for the mayor and the Arctic announcement. That was incredible. And I think he closed with something that was as important as those two things, which was we need to do it in a way that is equitable. And I'm very, very happy that the mayor is taking that leadership and look forward to continuing to work with him. My name is Gregg Small. I'm the Executive Director of Climate Solutions. I know many of you are very, very familiar with our work. Some of you are new to it. Climate Solutions, as Mark mentioned, is a Northwest-based clean energy economy nonprofit. We were founded in 1998 with the mission of accelerating practical and profitable solutions to climate change by galvanizing leadership, growing investment, and bridging divides. So what does that mean exactly? It means we're working to build a clean energy economy that will generate sustainable prosperity for our communities and protect the natural environment for our children. I'm proud to say that for 17 years, we've been a catalyst for practical solutions that are good for the planet, good for business, good for labor, and good for people. We've done things like written reports that outline steps towards broadly shared prosperity without pollution. We've worked to bridge the gap between sustainability and economic growth through programs like Harvesting Clean Energy, which has united thousands of people in Washington and Oregon and Idaho and Montana in building a clean energy economy in rural communities. And we've helped to pass policies like Initiative 937, which has helped to grow thousands of jobs in renewables and energy efficiency here in Washington State. And importantly, while our focus is here in the Northwest, we focus our work on Washington and Oregon. Our ambitions are much larger. We believe solutions here offer a model for change and progress across the nation and across the globe. Our goal is regional leadership with global impact. And in this, too, we've been successful. Actually, Mark mentioned a piece of legislation that Mayor Murray helped to champion when he was in the legislature around clean cars. This is a bill that Climate Solutions to help to pass in Washington and Oregon and went on to be the framework for one of President Obama's landmark climate achievements in his first term, a policy that will double the fuel efficiency of cars here in the United States. If there's one achievement that I think most symbolizes who Climate Solutions is and what we aspire to achieve, it's the deal to successfully transition Centralia's coal-fired power plant back in 2010. This is an effort that we did with Sierra Club and many other organizations. So this agreement, it included a pathway to transitioning the plant off of coal, coupled with deep investments to help the workers and the city of Centralia adjust to the closing of one of that city's most important economic engines. And the closing and the transitioning of that plant is going to open up new opportunities, very big opportunities for growth in renewables and energy efficiency. And when Governor Gregoire signed that deal in 2010, she was joined, and we were joined by labor leaders, community members, and company executives. And I think this is a great example of how we work to bring together people who may not believe that they have anything in common and give them a path forward to saying yes to building a clean energy economy. And really, this is at the essence. This is really the soul of our organization, and it has been from the very beginning. So after 2010, we had a great success in Centralia. We'd recently passed the Clean Cars legislation, recently had won the battle on Initiative 937. We were feeling very good about the opportunity for continuing to accelerate solutions at scale. And then something happened. Something happened that really forced us to rethink what we must be willing to do to create regional change with global impact. Because at the same moment that this deal was being made to transition the Centralia coal plant, other coal companies were putting forward proposals to ship coal from Montana to China through ports in Washington and Oregon. And honestly, this created a real crisis moment for Climate Solutions as an organization, because for more than a decade, we'd been a model of solutions-based pragmatism. That's what we were focused on, getting to yes, getting to solutions. And then all of a sudden, we were confronted by this truly huge threat from the coal industry. And we struggled. I mean, we struggled with, could we really put our shoulder to a campaign of opposition when we had spent our entire organization's history saying yes to building the clean energy economy, not fighting new fossil fuel proposals? It was really something quite different for us as an organization. And the question for us was, could we pivot to fighting a battle that was about opposition when we had fought so long for solutions? But ultimately, we knew that we couldn't close our eyes to this, because on the one hand, we felt like we couldn't celebrate the successful transition of the Centralia coal plant, which burns, roughly 5 million tons of coal per year. And at the same time, literally close our eyes as the proposed 150 million plus tons of coal that is proposed rolled along our railroad tracks to be burned and to pollute our air and our water and our lungs. We just couldn't stand by and let that happen. The scale was too significant. And we knew we had an obligation to help to lead the diverse array of organizations that are standing up and saying no and fighting the dirty coal proposals. And I think many of you know it's working. 4 of the 6 proposals are no longer active, but the 2 biggest ones that have been proposed are still very much alive, and we're running a full-bore campaign to try to defeat them, to make sure that they are never built. This is really extraordinary, but it's just the beginning. Our region has really moved from a place that didn't have a very large fossil fuel imprint to one that has quite a large one. It's now not just the coal companies that are out. It's, as I think many people know, it's the oil industry with its proposals to move oceans of oil through our communities along railroads. As we've already heard from the mayor, it's about Shell Oil and the massive drilling platform that may soon be sitting at the dock en route to the Arctic. To all of these, we must say no. We must say no, and we must stand in opposition to choices that lock in dangerous fossil fuels for decades to come. That is what we must do, and that's what Climate Solutions must do. We will say no and stand in opposition with many others when we have to. But Climate Solutions ultimately believes, and I think everyone here in this room believes, that the future is about accelerating solutions at scale. And the challenge now is to turn opposition into opportunity. That is the challenge right now, to turn opposition into opportunity. And we feel like the biggest opportunity, the biggest yes opportunity in the history of Climate Solutions is here before us today. Last year, I think many people know, working with many, many partners, we helped to launch the West Coast Climate Campaign. Our vision is big, because that's what we need. Our vision is a single unified region stretching from California to British Columbia that is aligned by climate policies that cut carbon, expand the clean energy economy, and breathe new life into climate action here in the United States and around the globe. Together, we form the world's 5th largest economy, and this is really our opportunity to make change at a transformational scale. Again, this is our moment to turn the enormous opposition to fossil fuel proposals and turn it into an opportunity to build the type of communities and the type of region that we all want to live in. So the tasks before us now are clear, and these are Climate Solutions priorities in the coming year. Number 1 is winning that West Coast Climate Campaign, which means putting in place a set of climate policies running from California to British Columbia that are the most robust on the planet, including putting a price and a cap on carbon pollution. As I think we all know, it is well past time to start accounting for the price of carbon pollution that we are already paying, and Climate Solutions will do whatever it takes in Salem, in Olympia, or at the ballot box to make this happen. Number 2 is a topic that I've already talked about, and that's stopping the export of coal and the transport of oil through our communities. At everybody's table is more information about that, and if you would like to get more involved, I know many of you here are already involved. If you'd like to get more involved, please fill out that postcard, and we will work to get you engaged. And number 3, and certainly last but not least, is providing regional leadership with global impact through programs to replace our dirty reliance on fossil fuels with cleaner alternatives. So Climate Solutions has a bunch of well-established programs like New Energy Cities that build the partnerships we need to demonstrate that the clean energy economy is happening now and can be accelerated at scale. So our New Energy Cities team, incredible team, we've been collaborating with King County for more than 2 years, with the county and with 13 cities that represent 75% of the population of the county and 3/4 of the entire population, 1.5 million people. And together they've committed to ambitious carbon emission reduction with building energy efficiency, renewable energy, and clean transportation. We have an incredible leader in our midst today who's been helping to guide that and has been a leader on a lot of other issues, and that is King County Executive Dow Constantine. Dow, thank you for your leadership on this issue. We earlier flashed other elected officials, but I also want to specifically acknowledge some of the elected officials that are here today that are working on that particular initiative with New Energy Cities. Those folks here this morning: Mercer Island Mayor Bruce Bassett, Snoqualmie Mayor Matt Larson, Issaquah Mayor Fred Butler, Bellevue Council Member Lynn Robinson, Burien Council Member Nancy Tosta, Auburn Council Member Nancy Bacchus, Normandy Park Council Member Stacia Jenkins, and of course, Mayor Murray, who was here with us earlier, and I apologize to any of those of you who are here who I haven't acknowledged. Thanks all of you for being here and for your leadership. So these are the priorities of Climate Solutions for the coming years: winning the West Coast climate campaign, stopping the export of the coal export and the transport of oil through our communities, and accelerating clean energy and energy efficiency solutions at scale through cutting-edge programs and partnerships. That's what we're setting out to do. It's a big agenda, and success in these endeavors will require a unity of diverse voices like we have never seen before. And to me, I think the most exciting development is the recent creation here in Washington of the Alliance for Jobs and Clean Energy, and to the south, a sister organization, Renew Oregon. This alliance is already the deepest and the most diverse coalition ever created here in the state of Washington to address both the challenge and the opportunity of climate change. It's led by leaders from labor and business and communities of color and faith, health groups, environmental organizations, and many, many more. The list of steering committees is up here. It's an impressive group, and I think that together we can accomplish an enormous amount. I also want to just acknowledge and say that this alliance could not have been possible without the leadership of some incredible women here in Washington who are here with us this morning. Joan Crooks, who wears 2 hats with the Washington Environmental Council and Washington Conservation Voters, Shanna Murphy with Washington Conservation Voters, and Becky Kelly with Washington Environmental Council, been incredible leaders on so many issues and have helped to get the alliance off the ground. And I want to thank all 3 of you for your great work. Thank you. For those of you interested in getting more involved in the Alliance, there's also information at your tables for that. Please fill out that information, and we look forward to working with you there. A few other things. We are so incredibly proud to be working side by side with so many communities of color organizations, working with groups like One America, Got Green, the Latino Community Fund, Puget Sound Sage, and many, many more to put in place climate policy that not only cuts carbon pollution, but does it in a way that's equitable and that protects those that are most impacted. We are partnering closer than ever with our partners in the labor community to grow family-supporting jobs and ensure that we include pathways for current fossil fuel workers. And we look forward to collaborating ever more closely. Right now, I think many of you know our Senior Policy Advisor, Casey Golden. He is co-chair of the Blue-Green Alliance, along with Jeff Johnson, who heads the Washington State Labor Council and is one of the most, it's really one of the most inspiring leaders I've ever met. And they're working together to unite environmental organizations and labor unions on shared efforts. I know many of our friends from labor are here this morning. I want to thank you for your work and being here with us this morning. Thank you so much. And finally, we continue to do the work that we have been doing since we were founded back in 1998, partnering with the business community through our business partnership program. We've done a lot in this space, but I want to particularly point out something we launched in 2014, joining up with keynote speaker organization Mindy Luber's group Series, along with business leaders from across the region to launch the Washington and Oregon Business Climate Declarations, which were about demonstrating that businesses in the Northwest region recognize our unique opportunity to be a leader in responding to climate change. These declarations have now been signed by more than 500 businesses, and the list continues to grow. The tangible impact of our work, the tangible impact of all of our work here in this room is now here for all to see. Today, investments in energy efficiency contribute more than $500 million to Washington's economy and are creating more than 7,500 jobs. And according to a fresh report, Oregon is already home to more than 68,700 jobs in renewables, energy efficiency, and other conservation services. And the wind industry in Washington state has helped to drive more than $5.3 billion in new investments. The clean energy economy is here today. And with all of us working together, we can continue to accelerate solutions and have our corner of the world, our regional leadership, have a global impact. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate it.